It's Jarius the Aquarius with my relatable revival. Hello and welcome, my fellow star sisters and brothers. Hi y'all, today in this video I'm going to be talking about the Arcturus star system, the celestial realm of Arcturus. If you stay later on in the video, I'm going to be talking about starseed traits, so if you resonate with this video, I'm going to be getting into some galactic history. I put all my references and my sources at the end of the video. I am going to be starting off this video though by reading The Gateway of Arcturus, Chapter 7, from the Prism of Lyra by Lisa Royale Holt and Keith Priest, because I feel like it gives like a really good summary of explains a good summary of how the Arcturus system started, how the beings even originated, how they got there, and again, so if you feel like you're Arcturus starseed or you feel like you have that within your cosmic tree, this video is for you, so I would stay till the end. I'm going to be getting into, again, like starseed traits and different star beings, like benign star beings. I'll reference from The Gift from the Stars by Elena Denan, and then I have some indicators, also some birth chart indicators you can look for to kind of confirm your Arcturus connection. And then also I'll read a little bit about the fixed star from the Ascension Glossary, the fixed star Arcturus, and if you have that in your chart and what it can mean. So, maybe you don't feel like you're an Arcturian starseed, but you have Arcturus in your chart. I'm going to touch on all of that. So let's get into it. When passing through the Prism of Lyra, there were some beings who decided to remain in non-physical form. These beings lovingly chose an existence of service to those of more dense realities, such as the third density Earth. They realized that on developing physical worlds, the evolving life may need assistance from other realms. This assistance would come in the form of archetypes, angels, guides, and the unseen inspiration. These beings were attracted to the area of Arcturus. During their initial attraction, the star field in the Arcturus region was slightly different from its present manifestation, but the energy of the area remains constant. There is a gateway or crossroads in the fabric of time and space in the general area of Arcturus. These beings soon realized this gateway passed dimensionally through almost every other area inhabited from the dimensional infusion. So it was then that they began to understand their purpose to aid consciousness from many levels of awareness. The Arcturian purpose is multifaceted. One idea is that they serve humanoid kind as an ideal. They represent the future self of an individual or a society. Their energy is, by its nature, a magnet that draws out positive potential and integration from the very depths of its being. They reflect to Earth where it is heading in its evolution. Once humanity evolves into non-physicality, the ideal goal is to achieve a consciousness similar to that of the Arcturian mass consciousness. So they recognize themselves as a group matrix committed to the idea of the evolution of consciousness. So very often Arcturian beings will manifest to humans as angels. It is known that one of the purposes of an angel is to serve humankind. In a very real sense, the Arcturians have a dedication to humanoid kind. They have chosen to learn about physicality through physical beings. They are etheric in nature. Their energy can be felt as a presence, a surge of creativity, or unconditional love. They will manifest according to the belief system of the person with whom they are interacting with. To the more traditionally religious, it will be as an angel. To some of the more modern seekers, perhaps extraterrestrials or future selves. Either way, the outcome is the same, an interaction with a truly loving being devoted to the service of physical beings in this whole. So we're talking about, obviously, the 7th, 9th dimensional Arcturians, the benign ones, that help out humanity, have their hands in humanity, that maybe haven't chose to come down and to be a physical being, so quote unquote be a starseed. So we're talking about more of the benign ones here, okay? So this is more of the higher vibration of the higher polarity, the positive polarity of the Arcturian energy right now. So Because they serve physicality, they interact not only with the humanoid beings upon a planet, but also with the unseen kingdoms whose evolution is different from that of humanoids. Each planet has its own Devic kingdom, the consciousness energy of the plant, mineral, and animal kingdoms, and the Arcturian energy acts as a higher aspect of a planet's Devic kingdom. Again, they repeat the idea of reflecting the future evolutionary ideal. There are a small number of Arcturians who choose to experience physicality in order to serve. Rather than entering physicality through the birth process, they choose to walk in an already existing body on a physical world. They do not have the need or the karmic compulsion, so to speak, to enter through the incarnation process. By various agreements between souls, a trade is established. The soul of a human who is emotionally in pain will enter the Arcturus realm for healing, and the curious Arcturian will temporarily embody upon a planet. So, the primary service the Arcturians provide for physical beings is that of emotional healing. Arcturus is more of a realm than an actual place. Within the realm of Arcturus, Earth souls who have had traumatic deaths or lives are healed and rejuvenated. Because the gateway of Arcturus connects dimensionally with Earth, all who incarnate on Earth must pass through the Arcturus realm before they reach the planet, unless they consciously choose not to, of course. So this provides a healing for those about to be born and a strengthening of their choices and desires for the physical life about to occur. The gateway of Arcturus prepares non-physical consciousness for the intense focus of physicality and thus sexuality. From the Arcturian point of awareness, physicality and sexuality are the same expression. The Arcturus energy is particularly adept at various forms of sexual healing, such as the case of sexual abuse during childhood or adulthood. The healing energies of Arcturus are equally nurturing for the abused and the abuser, for both are much in pain. The utilization of the Sirius Arcturus healing matrix can be quite powerful in such cases. So, the citations, especially dolphins, can represent the Sirius Arcturus matrix to those in pain. Since dolphins are quite sexual and unconditionally loving in their expression, they can serve as a physical manifestation of the Sirius Arcturus healing matrix. This matrix is totally non-threatening, providing subtle healing on very deep levels. So yeah, always use your discernment, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't consider this book all the way new age, but it did pop up around when the new age was pushed, but there's still valid information in it, and there's still information that I feel is true, So anyways, continuing, at the death, the human consciousness passes through the Arcturus realm. There they are nurtured and cared for until they awaken to their greater reality. In the case of traumatic death, a great tenderness and healing is shared so that the soul about to awaken makes a smooth transition. So, in after-death experiences, the light that is perceived at the end of a tunnel is actually a representation of the Arcturus vibration, which I've heard it's the archons. So, again, like I said, use your discernment, This vibration will be translated through the perceiver's own belief system. Because Arcturus is primarily 6th density, it is often perceived as the Christ or Buddha vibration. The light can be equated with the future or higher self, quote-unquote Christ self of an individual. So in a sense, during the death process, one is merging with the higher self, which happens to share a frequency range nearly identical to the Arcturus realm. There, healing occurs. In all of creation, there is nothing that heals, nurtures, and rejuvenates the human spirit as completely as the Arcturus vibration. Another idea that is synonymous with the Arcturus vibration is the idea of creativity. When one is creating, one aligns with the energy of the creator. Since Arcturus serves as a messenger of the creator, so to speak, the vibrations are quite similar. In this way, Arcturus has been immediately bound to humanity from the beginning, since humanity is always creating. So Arcturus is much more than a star. It is a frequency that one possesses within. It is a frequency of creation, healing, and evolution. It has been with Earth and other developing physical planets from their inception. It is less a character in the Galactic family story than an undercurrent, one that is ever present in the entire dimensional infusion idea. So basically across the universe. So because the energy of Arcturus is an undercurrent that constantly interacts with us, the Earth planetary environment often translates Arcturian energy into a form that is meant to trigger individuals emotionally. An example of this is the lenticular cloud, a spectacular cloud formation that molds itself into a disc shape. It may look like a spacecraft, but most of the time it is merely the Earth environment translating the energy it perceives at an etheric level. These etheric shifts serve once again to remind humanity of its unseen connections. So within polarized reality, Arcturus has chosen a counterpart to reflect other aspects of its evolving nature. Its counterpart is the area called Antares, which I also have a video of Antares, and I can also dive deeper into that in the future. So within the dimensional gateway or crossroads, there is a joining between Antares and Arcturus, which serves as a major focal point of energy in the region. Most of the consciousnesses who incarnate on Earth pass only through the Arcturus vibration, but there are others who choose to pass through Antares before they reach Arcturus. These are the individuals who work directly with mass consciousness, patterns, matrices, and cellular evolution. So continuing reading the chapter, The Gateway of Arcturus, on page 51. Antares is also the dimensional connection point between Earth's quadrant of the Milky Way and the galaxy Andromeda. So the Antares-Andromeda connection energizes the abstract concepts of existence and consciousness necessary for physical races to begin to remember their heritage, thus transmuting their past. Most of the other races explored in this work have more individualized agreements with planet Earth. The Arcturus connection is very fluid, very malleable, but no less important. If one likens all the other characters of the story to ingredients in a cosmic soup, one can see how they all add to the flavoring. However, if one likens Arcturus to the consistency of the biolin in the soup, it is apparent how the Arcturian vibration is a vital ingredient that holds it all together. So, many manifestations of the Arcturian energy on Earth can be explored. So getting into, your cosmic tree, if this is resonating, if you feel like you're an Arcturus starseed, this is how, it could happen, things like that. This is how it could happen. So first one can say that Arcturus and Sirius form a partnership. Whereas Arcturus works with emotional healing, Sirius facilitates physical healing. The Egyptians knew these connections and called upon the energies of the Arcturus-Sirius matrix for assistance in their rituals. The Egyptian deity known as Anubis was a direct Sirian archetype but worked with the Arcturian energy. Anubis guided individuals into the underworld, the astral, or through the process of physical death. There, the energies of both Sirius and Arcturus began the healing process within the soul. So with the soul, the representation of the jackal, or the dog, as in the dog star of Sirius, as Anubis, is a blatant signal that the Egyptians were aware of the connection. Anubis, as a Sirius archetype, led the departed soul to the Arcturus realm where healing occurs. So if you feel like you were Egyptian, you've had past life regressions and you're like, or past life dreams, and or you just really connect with the Egyptian culture, or you just know that your family were Egyptians, there you go. Like, you could have Arcturian starseed DNA within you. Just with the gods mating with, the mortals and things like that. So, the quote-unquote gods, right, we call them. So, Arcturus represents integration as much as Orion represents the conflicting or polarized nature of humanity. The archetype of Merlin has often been labeled a bridge. When two polarities attempt a unification, there must be a common ground they both stand on before the merging occurs. Merlin is thus a bridge between the explosive Orion and the healing Arcturus. He is the common ground. It is apparent how his energy has been of major importance not only to Earth, but to all who experience polarity. Magic is a spark created from the friction between polarities that ignites transformation. Early in the development of Earth, the Arcturians agreed to densify themselves enough to be perceived temporarily. They interacted with the early culture called Lemuria by teaching healing skills. The memory of these interactions was carried throughout generations. When the Lemurians migrated to many areas of the earth, these memories were carried with them. The statues of Easter Island are one of the few ideas that remain in the physical of their direct interaction. These statues are not meant to represent these densified Arcturians so much as to pay tribute to them. The position of the statues is skyward, gazing at the horizon, waiting for Arcturians' return. Humanity has never had to wait for their return. The energy has been present all along. If one looks inward instead of outward, they can be found. They are the human race evolved to its highest potential. They remind humanity an edge it forward into the magnificent spiral of evolution. Home is where the heart is, and the heart is the path of Arcturus. And let's say that you have a lot of prominent planets or prominent aspects to the fixed star Arcturus within your birth chart. So, like, you don't feel like this is your star Cedar Regions, or you don't feel like you had a lifetime there, but let's just say you have this benign fixed star within your chart. I'm going to go into what it means, and I'm reading from ascensionglossary.com. So, fixed star Arcturus is a golden red star situated on the left knee of the constellation Bootes. The two most fortunate stars in the sky, Spica and Arcturus, are very close in longitude. While Spica is sweet and innocent, Arcturus is more apt at dealing with the darker aspects of life on Earth. So, fixed star Arcturus is one of the is of the nature of Mars and Jupiter. It gives riches, honors, high renown, self-determination, and prosperity by navigation and voyages. So Arcturus is one of the 15 benign fixed stars. Its image is a horse, wolf, or a man dancing. It cures fevers, retains the blood, and acts as an astringent, rules jasper and plantain. Fixed star Arcturus rules 2 inches below the navel in the human body. So Arcturus, the bear leader guardian, means observer of the Great Bear or the Ursa Major or the Big Dipper, respectively. The main star of constellation Bootes, driver of oxen, has a Jupiter-Mars nature and a reputation of achieving justice through power. It therefore makes the native belligerent and quarrelsome, especially if attached to Mars and Jupiter by conjunction. An enterprising spirit is here the rule as indicated by Jupiter-Mars. Lasting success is promised if further good aspects are present. If critically aspected, the good influence will be hampered or made into a real handicap. If involved in legal action, such a native may lose all. So, reading on page 95 of A Gift from the Stars from Elena Danan, she gets into some of the more familiar benign Arcturian star beings, called the Ohoran, the Glede, and the Nolin, and they're from Bootes, the Bootes constellation. So there is a magnificent blue planet orbiting the red giant star Arcturus Ahura in the Bootes constellation, 36 light years from our solar system. It is one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, which has surpassed into the 7th and 9th density. The 3 Arcturian groups are the Gledeans and the Nolins and the Ahurans, 9th dimensional. So, mostly 9th dimensional. So, Arcturians are an old and highly developed culture, technologically as well as spiritually. They can choose when to manifest into the third density physically, but mainly exist in etheric state, knowing that the physical matter is not an obstacle for them. So, like I mentioned in the Prism of Maya, right? Like Lisa Royale did. So, the Ohuri are those involved with the Galactic Federation of Worlds for the concern of Terra, and are regarded as very wise elders, great elders of life. They compose the higher caste of these spiritual beings and dwell up into the 9th density. Arcturians Ohori are known for their power of healing, transforming matter, as well as bending and manipulating light itself. They accomplish these things with their conscious mind, and the Ohori way is a spiritual practice renowned through the galaxy as an art of the spirit. This is a daily practice very popular among those serving the light, and you could assimilate it to meditation in your Terran language, although it is way more powerful than that and reaches out to a greater diversity of levels of consciousness. The right word to name it would be, quote-unquote, attuning. So many cultures throughout the galaxy teach their children since an early age the Ohori techniques of spiritual attuning as to become an essential routine into their life. Keeping naturally connected to Source via our personal channel and perfect awareness is to never lose our way through the disturbances of life and always stay attuned to the light in the ways of morality, objectivity, and justice. Ohori do not eat material food when not manifested in lower planes and generally ingest energy through their nervous systems. It is like ingesting food but on a higher etheric essence level. They are also able to assimilate information 100 times faster than the average Terran because of their particular process of assimilation of information energy. They sleep few but very regularly for short periods of time, depending on each one's personal cycle, and it is a vital necessity as it is the moment when their soul travels and connects to subtler dimensions of consciousness. So as guardians and protectors of higher consciousness, they are able to anchor the source directly and consciously. They work at raising the consciousness of the multiverse in a way that always follows free will, educating those who choose to take the path of ascension, raising their vibration and clearing the path to higher consciousness. Arcturians defend Terra from the reptilians and Grey's agendas. They have been working with the Galactic Federation of Worlds since the start in this purpose. They have bases on Terra inside the mountains in nearly every country on this planet, and also 3 bases on its moon. Arcturians have come to assist Terrans in assisting the fifth density by assessing the fifth density by raising their vibrational frequencies. Their ships are the finest in the entire galaxy, propelled by crystals conducting light energy from the source core of the galaxy. Huge and spherical, vibrantly white and looking ethereal or transparent from our perspective, these spherical ships are also able to travel through time. They have as well small shuttlecraft, spherical in shape, also named quote-unquote probes, and employed to shift magnetic points and grids on Terra in the process of helping the planet elevate into 5D as fast as possible. Something interesting they do as they can time travel is that they have this vaporizing module in their ships that can instantly dematerialize any life form that has died and can be rematerialized at any time by consulting the ship's records. Terran light beings, so quote-unquote souls, can be sometimes brought to the Arcturian starships during their dream state, where they are healed and helped, at the difference that Arcturians never violate a person's free choice. So on page 96 from The Gift from the Stars, Elena Danan talks about the Anak, the Butians, or the Izar, which are more benevolent. I'm not going to say all of them are, but we're going to get into why I say this. So their star system is listed by you as Epsilon, Butis, or Izar, and its real name is Anak Iman. The species living there gives numbers to their planets, and they live on number 2 and 3. The Anaki are a race of ferocious reptilians, but largely inferior technologically and in number to the draconian Shakar. Although they are part of the reptilian collective and subjects of the Shakar Empire, slightly higher than the Solipsi Ray Zeta Greys, they bear very similar features and have gray to brown colors. Their females have darker skin and thin, scarce, long black hair, slightly taller and not as aggressive as males, who have genetically benefited from the Shakar science to improve their longevity and physical performances for combat. We recognize them by their smell like rotten rust. Their face is triangular and they have, alike all races of greys, larger, slender eyes. Their language can sound to you like throat rumble. They have been involved in the eastern populations of Japan, where they had a settlement a long time ago at the end of the Ice Age, where the levels of the seas were lower and this part of the planet had more land. Japan was then attached to the continent. Anaki mixed with the local population in an interbreeding program, part of the Shakar agenda. Along with the Shakar, they were involved in the Dulce incidents, as well as with the implantation, and control of Terrans in the Shakar agenda to take over your planet. Their ships are square and rarely visible because they mainly use Shakar ships instead of better technology. So now getting into the more exciting part, if you feel this is within your cosmic tree, if you resonated with any of that information, I'm going to get into the Arcturian starseed traits. So let's get into it. So first I'm going to start with the birth chart indicators. So you could have strong Aquarian Uranus energies within your chart. So if that's like a stellium, or let's say you have like your rising or your moon or your sun, or something more like, your Venus or something like that, or a lot of Uranus aspects, you could be an Arcturian starseed. If you have the life path of 1, 7, or 4, you could be an Arcturian starseed. You could have had, past lives in Arcturus. So now getting more into the specific birth chart indicators, you can have Libra at the 15th, 17th, 19th, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, or the 28th degree. You can have Scorpio at the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th degree. You could have Virgo at the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 8th, or the 9th or the 10th degree. So, Arcturian starseed traits. They're going to love technology. These are going to be your tech wizards. They like to plan everything out. They're either very intellectual or they're very spiritual. Okay, they can be compassionate, aloof, guarded, driven, ambitious, just natural born leaders, analytical. They have a logical way of thinking. Their mission's to combine science and spirituality. Their mission could be to combine science and spirituality. They are light workers, most of them. Teachers, great at math and geometry. So in school, you could have been like a math wizard. You could have been really good at math and geometry and things like that. That could be like, a good, that's a good signal that you could have been Arcturian. You are an Arcturian starseed, or you just that's within your cosmic tree. So these beings are organized in nature. They can suffer from low blood pressure. They can have strong opinions. They're idealists. They can be engineers. They're visionaries. They have strong, vivid memories. Practical. They're logical, strategic, calculative, naturally great communicators. They are quote-unquote more angelic beings. They don't like close relations. Again, like they're more aloof and distant and guarded, like that Aquarian energy. They can be some of the most active people in society, trying to make a difference, trying to make a change. They love to travel, experts in sacred geometry and sound healing. So especially if you are Arcturian starseed, you can find yourself drawn to sacred geometry, crystal grids, things like that, sound healing. They love to feel needed and appreciated, and that goes in with them being, angelic, right? Because, they could have had past lives where, they were needed and appreciated. So that's very important to them. So Arcturus is the most advanced civilization in our galaxy. Like I read in the Gift from the Stars, they originate in the constellation of Bootis. They're a quote-unquote pro-human race, so again, they're for the humanoid kinds throughout the galaxies. They don't just work with, us earthlings, us human beings. They work with different human kinds. And also, again, I mentioned the Devic kingdoms. So they carry the sacred white healing DNA. They're masters of crystal and energy grids. So their race, like their star being race, again, they can appear to be tall or short. Purples, blues, whites. They're going to have strong Aquarian Uranus energies. They're going to be compassionate. They're going to have unfailing kindness. They're going to be strong and complete within themselves. So they're going to be very independent, strong-willed. They're going to loathe when the advice they give isn't taken. Missions could possibly be using abilities for constructive purposes. So they're going to be your planners and builders of the new earth. They like to put ideas into action. They love to experiment. They're system designers, architects, technological geniuses, physicists, doctors. So you'll see like a lot of Sirians and Arcturian starseeds as doctors. They're good at giving advice, maybe not so good at taking it, because with that angelic kind of quality, that Godhead, they can kind of have a quote-unquote God complex, basically. So they're casual with others. They can seem kind of too nonchalant, again with that, that's the same with that Aquarian energy, where they're aloof and distant, but they're going to be humorous, creative in nature, advocators, pioneers. They're going to be your mover and shakers, your go-getters, your innovators. They're going to put their ideas into action, into plan, to make a difference, kind of like that Aquarian energy, right? So this was the information that I had looked up and researched myself through watching different videos, reading different books and things about the Arcturian starseeds. So if any of this resonates, if this is within your cosmic tree, give us a like and a comment. Anything I missed out, you could leave down below if you want. If you guys stayed to the end, I really much appreciate it.